minute for it to kick in.
Welcome, everyone, to another fun-filled, exciting adventure with AltadenaTalks. You might be surprised that we're awake right now because we did a 4-hour live last night at a special event for Altadena fire victims. And I'm going to tell you, I'm tired, but we are here for you.
You should be tired. You should have seen him. He was on all night, you guys. He was interviewing people. He was laughing. He was joking. He was snatching people. It's like, hey, before you go in there, come over here. Exactly. But then he'd be like, who are you? Oh, okay. And how are you affiliated with this? Thank you very much.
Well, because I'm the only one that could say that out of all the group because I'm from Altadena and lost my home. So I want to know why you here. Do you know why you're here?
Exactly.
I met Elliot Jackson, who was the defensive coach for the Houston Texans. I met a guy last night. I forgot his name, but he was going live streaming with 4 other dudes who had 1 million followers each. And I took over his whole show talking about, I'm really 29. Don't let the gray hair fool you. And I'm clowning and having a good time. Oh, they loved it. They was bagging on me. I said, I know y'all talking smack about me, but I don't really care. You know, long as y'all people can see me and use the Don King as the preference, let's go.
You also met the dude to help put it on, right?
Oh, Todd Becker. Claps. Who actually, let's give a shout out to Marcus. He was a trooper last night.
Yeah. Definitely was. Thank you, Marcus. That was fun.
He held that camera until his arm turned to spaghetti. And I told him, I said, now you know how I feel. Because when I was at that Father's Day event and I was holding it, I was like, oh my God, y'all still talking? Like, my arm is killing me, and I forgot to. And I was having my selfie stick. I had it all up on my chest, trying to use leverage, and it's like, But yeah, we had a great time. Shout out to Brandon for taking all the pictures. I haven't got to look at anything yet. But while you guys are talking and I jump off the screen, I'm going to be putting together. What's happening, Captain EJ, all the way from Atlanta? Eric Jackson. Fire Chief Captain, all right. I see you in the house, homie. He's on Instagram right now. He joined in over there.
Look at Shawnee has returned.
Hey, there's Thoroughbred. What's up, Thoroughbred? So, Rouvaun, they changed John Marshall to Thurgood Marshall.
Did they?
Yeah, as of their 100-year anniversary.
Okay.
And so I was trying to say, who knew what name they changed it to? And Sean came on and said, Thoroughbred.
She knew what she was trying to say.
I know. We knew what she was trying to say. But it was so funny. So every time I see her, I say, what's up, Thoroughbred? Let's put this beta comment so we ain't going to be missing all these comments. So I'm going to jump off. Everybody should know who I am by now. And I'm going to let Jamal take over with our esteemed guest, Rouvaun Walker, who is also a Muir alumni, and he is about to wow y'all with his information and whatever else y'all gonna talk about. While y'all talking, y'all might see me do this because I'm gonna take a nap real quick. So I'll talk with y'all on the flip side.
Right on. Everybody, welcome to episode 131. As Brian said, we have a very special guest today, Rouvaun Walker. He's a Mura alum, native Altadenian, real estate professional, mortgage professional. He's done builder. He's a builder as well, and a litany of other things that he's actually done. I'm glad to have him come on to talk about his experience, not just with Altadena fires, but he's had some experience with some other things related. But he also has some plans and some things that some resources and skills he has to offer the folks of Altadena to actually move forward. So we're going to welcome him. So welcome, Rouvaun. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah, and he and I used to play basketball back in the day at Muir
right.
when we were there. That was good times. I forgot about that.
I think were we both coming off the bench or what?
Pretty much. Yeah. Early on, that's how it was.
Right.
We got Tony popping in here. Hold on one second. Where is she? Wait, where did she go? Oh, I don't see a picture. But anyway, Tony popped in. Hey, Tony, if you can hear us.
She popped in to renew.
Copy that. All right, there we go. So Tony is still on vacation, so that's why she's not on the show. But Rouvaun, thank you again for coming on. Give us a little, little background. What's your background to Altadena, and a little bit more than what I had mentioned.
Well, I've been here since I got here when I was 13, and from Guardian actually. So I've always been a Dena guy, and then went to Elliott, went to John Muir. My family has been here since the 70s.
Oh, okay.
And first they lived in Meadows in Altadena, and then they moved to Pasadena as well. So they're part of that migration, that old history of all that generational middle class folks. And my aunt, I moved in with my aunt and uncle. They were that's where I get my service from. My aunt was, it still is, well, her name is Ernestine Moore. She was a dean and VP of Pasadena City College for 30 years.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people know her from PCC. And then my uncle, he's a serial entrepreneur, but he did a lot of service as well with the Pasadena Mental Health Association.
Okay.
I'm looking at an award of his right now. So, a lot of service to the community for Altadena and Pasadena over the years. That type of legacy was there. And for me personally, I'm a builder, not just homes, but systems and solutions. I've been an owner builder, so a lot of what these people are going through, about to go through, I went through firsthand almost 25 years ago, 20 years ago, as in my early 30s. Dating myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I built my first two homes, and I'm a mortgage guy, 30 years, real estate broker, investor, the whole nine yards. So I kind of understand what everybody's going through. And then my personal challenges over the last year, I got displaced. My wife and I, we were in a condo, and then it got flooded. So I've had to deal with the insurance and the construction and negotiating and running out of funds when you were displaced. We moved 3 times. So I understand what people are going through with the fire. And all that displacement that happens. And then I lost my mom too last year.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. But I say that to say that it was a rough year, and I had to deal with assets and trusts and all of that. So It's one thing to teach that stuff. It's another thing to actually go through it and do it yourself. You know what I mean? So
right.
So I mean that's why it's all about managing family legacies, trying to protect what matters. That's why we started the Dena Phoenix Foundation. All of that experience, personal and professional, culminating to one. I know what people are going to need for this long journey.
Okay,
so that's
awesome. All right, well, I appreciate that. Now, before we get into the details and the weeds of Dena Phoenix Foundation, you had mentioned you had kind of had experience that or had experience the stuff that people are going through right now. And I know we both went to Berkeley and are familiar with the Bay Area. You stayed up there for a while, and why don't you tell everybody about your experience with the stuff that happened up in Oakland and how you were displaced and everything?
Well, I wasn't displaced, but I handled a lot of I handled a lot of. My first job out of college was working in the bank, right? And so a lot of people were coming with their insurance checks, and the Oakland Hills fire happened in '91, and it displaced and burned about 3,000 single-family homes. And so I saw the people come into the bank, and some people were rebuilding, and then some people were selling. I think up there it turned out to be about 80% rebuilt and 20% sold. And you had a more, it was a affluent area of Oakland.
Oh, yes, it was.
Affluent
If
area.
you lived in Oakland Hills, you knew you had some loot.
Right. Most of the black folks live in the flatlands. So, the hills it was kind of stratified in terms of wealth down there. So, 80% of them rebuilt. And then, just to see the community come back over that arc of time was incredible. You can see the homes that had no rhyme or reason why they're still standing versus all these newly built homes. They widened the streets, put the utilities underground, things that they're talking about right now. It's like I've already seen the whole thing. And then out of that, I ended up building my first 2 homes right next to the fire lots.
How'd you come to do that?
And I say that's God's hand, really. My ex-wife was pregnant at the time, and I just jumped into action. I just jumped out of kid mode into, okay, I need to be 100% adult. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Put down the video games and all that. I was always a cool professional, in mortgages, but I really went out to go own my own home. And at the time, this was like 99, 2000. Was doing the .com boom, and I qualified for quite a bit of a mortgage. I was making decent money, but I was getting outbid. Everybody was coming with those stock options at the time.
Oh yeah,
and they could just, the market was crazy. So I was frustrated. I lost out on a house. It was a nice Mediterranean looking house. It was straight white. Looked like it came straight out of Greece. Lost that house, lost another bid to another house. And then my brother-in-law said, hey, why don't you build? I don't know anything about building. And so they were contractors. And he said, we'll help you. And so it just so happened that right up the street, because my brother-in-law had just built a house. And then right up the street, there was a house for sale. There was a lot for sale. And the lot, the realtor that had that lot was one of my clients because he was also a mortgage broker. So I called him up. It was Warren Chapman. And then we did the deal over a handshake.
Nice. You don't hear about that much nowadays.
Yeah, no, it was a handshake. We didn't need any agreements or anything like that. We've already done business together. It was kind of cool, right? So my brother-in-law ended up getting divorced to my sister-in-law, and we kind of fell out. So I didn't build with them. I built with somebody else. I just got a project manager, and the cool thing is I understood the financing part. I got one of those construction loans, and I just did the damn thing. So I know if I can do it, especially green at that time, then I know a lot of people are going to do it. But I think what they don't realize is how many decisions you're going to have to make and time and commitment that it's going to take to get it done, like all the way through.
So kind of with that in mind, what would you just say the benefit would be to actually have somebody that can actually be the builder that understands the process, that your partner in rebuilding your home that can help you with those responses? How important is that?
Extremely. So I went the project manager route, and some people are going to choose the general contractor route, the builder route. It depends on what their time allows. My route was the cheapest route in terms of saving money, because I got a project manager. I paid him a flat rate. And so he was acting, because as an owner builder, you don't have to have a general contractor's license.
Okay.
You can do it on your own and receive the money. And I'm all about my money, right?
I bet. Yeah.
I don't trust folks. I don't trust contractors either. Um, so um, so I was in control of the money, but he was in control of the subs. So he had the subcontractors for each stage of the build, and he worked together with my architect and engineering team as well. So that part of communication was bridged, and then I controlled the funds because I did the bids. We both did the bids for the subcontractor. So if I needed a foundation, we got 3 bids. Didn't always choose the lowest. Interviewed the subcontractors, the framers. Those turned out to be like good friends of mine for years after that moment.
Nice.
And then the only real problem I had during that build was the recommendation from my ex-brother-in-law with the foundation. So we almost got into it with that one.
Hey, it's always going to be something.
There's always
never going to be perfect.
But for that,
yeah,
all my subs were professional. They got the job done. A lot of people have horror stories, and contractors can be 50-50, but I was very fortunate enough to get in a good groove. And that's what happens. If you get in a good groove with your subs and your contractor and you feel comfortable, it'll be a tough experience, but it'll be a pleasurable experience in the sense of we got it done and you'll feel accomplished. But if you get with the wrong folks, it's a disaster and a nightmare. It's something that you may not recover from. So that's the part that I'm concerned.
Okay. So now, quite a few people are not going to want to be their own owner builder, right? So they're going to actually want to have either, get the individual pieces and put them together, the designer, the architect, the GC and all that stuff. Others are going to go with an actual design build. So it's all in one-stop shop. What are some of the questions? Because I've talked to several people and they're concerned. They've never had to build a house. Nobody expected this. Most of the time when people are rebuilding, they've consciously made a decision to either remodel or whatever they're doing to their home. So for those who are thrust into the situation are now at the point where they're having to make some decisions, what types of questions, and we're going to get to all the other stuff you can do, but what kind of questions do you think people should be asking if it's an owner builder, what kind of questions should they be asking the owner builder just to make sure that they're quote unquote vetting them correctly? And then about how many people should they have to compare? Is it the 3 that you talked about with the 3 bids and so forth? So let's start with the questions. What should people be asking to verify if people are legit or not?
Well, you should ask if they're licensed or bonded and then check. Trust but verify. That's important because you gotta understand if they're not licensed and bonded, who is licensed and bonded. Somebody could be a developer, and then they hire GCs themselves. So you need to make sure all that's there and that they have a track record. You need to make sure that you ask for references or see their past work somehow, some way. I would say it's not about price all the time. It's about, do you feel comfortable? And this is you only figure this out by talking to folks, feeling in your gut, can they get the job done? And it's not about a lot of times who you know, because sometimes who you know is not.
They're not the right ones.
You're not the right one. They're not. But I had a uncle, or he was an uncle cousin because he's the other generation.
Yeah.
And he was great at his craft of being a contractor. He was a terrible businessman,
Gotcha.
So, can they handle doing more than one project? Because a lot of the contractors are trying to get as many as they can, and then they probably will eat more than they probably will be able to take on. So here's what you're trying to avoid in these questions. You're trying to avoid a contractor that once you give them money, you don't see them for 2
Exactly. Yeah. They should be in communication with you all the way till you move into that
Oh,
house.
yes,
Yeah.
man. Look, when I say I've been through this firsthand, it's firsthand. So um, inevitably with insurance companies, if you're displaced, right, and you're moving for your third, fourth time, we moved 3 times last year. Um, there's delays. There's natural delays in terms of you receiving the money. You have to deal with the mortgage company, and then you paying out draw. Each section of the bill, it could be delays. Now, if somebody takes off with your money and there's a further delay, you can run into some serious problems doing it.
Right.
Like, for instance, so here's a problem we had that people will experience. Inevitably, there will be some people that experience this issue. So we had, let's say, $90,000 for our displacement, not the rebuild, not the rehab our condo. It was $90,000 for displacement money. I thought that was a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
90 grand. I'm like, okay, we'll be back in. I looked at what needed to be done, and I let the insurance company's contractors build that because I had other projects to do myself.
Okay.
So I let them do it. And I was like, this is a 3 or 4 month job, right? And then the insurance company has a responsibility to put you into the level of living that you were at previously.
Mhm.
So we were in Hollywood, we were at Lowe's and $400 a night and all that. I'm thinking we're going to be back in, and then the delays happen, and we ran out of money. Come December, right? We were running out of money. Yeah, I had rehabbed our family home, which is what you're seeing right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then my mom was like, "Just move in there." That's how I ended up back in Pasadena, man. It was all through, as I said, God's hand.
Divine intervention,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's just like, so, um, luckily, otherwise I would have had to have paid the mortgage plus a place to stay. Because your mortgage, if you got a mortgage, that don't stop coming.
Yeah, don't stop at all. That's
No.
the sad part.
No, you can get a forbearance, but only for so long. By the time people get to that point where they're running out of money, there's a huge dilemma. So knowing that, you got to come up with solutions before the problems happen.
Sure.
Right? And that's where you get into things like technical assistance, what you need, because while you're in it, you're trying to make an objective decisions, but you're in it. It's like there's a reason why a doctor won't operate on himself, or a lawyer is a fool to represent himself. You're involved. Even if you're an expert in that, you sort of need these outside, unbiased, fact-based decisions.
Non-emotional.
Oh, man, you need help.
Yeah.
So
completely
that's what I'm talking about. So those are sort of real world. I was thrust into situations. I mean, I hadn't planned on building no house when my wife was pregnant.
Right.
I was just planning to buy a house, and I qualified for this much because I'm a mortgage guy and I know what I did. And boom, I was going to be in the house.
Right.
So,
but what you learned.
Yeah, I learned, man. And then from that, I built so here's the crazy part, Jamal. That house was, the houses I was looking for were anywhere from 2,300 to like 2,800 square feet. And then I end up building a 6,000 square foot house.
I remember you telling me that. That blew me away. And it's like, anybody's going to ask, how'd you manage to do that? How did that work out?
For the same money, because I told you I was the owner, builder, and the project manager at the time. So I was able to. So here's the deal: from the '91 fire, what ended up happening was a few builders came out of that. They were mom and pop builders from that fire, and they had a great reputation over that decade of building great quality homes and all that. So my brother-in-law was like, hey, we should do that, me and you. So we were going to go into business together and all that. just based off of the fires and the business that came after all that.
Sure.
And that was, yeah. And so I sat down to talk to these guys. Oh, like, what's your model? Okay, so we bought these lots for X amount, and then our build cost is this. We keep it within this, and with that, we could build these large homes. So they took what was once a 2,300 square foot house and made it a 5,000 square foot house. That's where the term McMansions came in.
Yeah, yeah.
From things like that, right?
Got you.
So we were just taking that out.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you giving that background. I kind of want to wanted to have folks, kind of understand how you got the knowledge that you had specifically for these kind of situations. Now, one thing before I go to the next part, I did ask about how many people or how many different like contractors or builders do you think people should interview before they actually make a decision? Is 3 a safe number? Should they choose a little more, or
3 minimum? But be patient. So here's my suggestion. Once your housing's secure, and you got a time clock, so you can't be too patient, right? Because of the displacement costs. But don't rush into anything, and it could be 5, right? It could be, because even in the renovations that I've been doing over the last year or so, I renovated three homes. I get different bids, and sometimes, I don't go with the lowest bid, right? And my patience pays off in terms of my costs, and in terms of the quality of work that got done. So sometimes you got to be still in the chaos,
gotcha.
and then it flows to you. So sometimes I like for the roof, for instance, I got 6 bids.
Oh, okay.
Right, because it ranged so much. So you get the sales guy in there, then you get the owner in there. Then I just want the labor and materials.
Give you the low ball, the basics.
I'll do the research, but that's just me, though, right? Mm-hmm. So, but sometimes you got to settle into who's coming at you when you ask these questions. And then you got to get a feel for who it is. So I don't have a set number. I know there needs to be a minimum of 3.
Okay. But, that's a great start. At least 3. Yeah.
3.
Cool. So then let's transition now to Altadena and the Eaton fire. Yeah. Talk about your connection, how you were affected, and what brought upon. Well, we'll transition into the Dena Phoenix Foundation from there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm in Pasadena in the San Rafael area. So we were downwind from the fire. We still got evacuated as well because it started to hit Linda Vista, and then I was just really weird because the winds were incredible that night, right? So I had just gone to a meeting. It was like a 7:00 meeting. Sat down, and I hadn't been. It was a frat meeting. I hadn't been to a meeting in like all year because of all the things that were going on with me. I was like, finally, okay, we can settle down. I could go to the meeting and chill with the brothers and all that. As soon as
Shout out to your frat real quick. What's your fraternity?
Alpha Phi Alpha.
Fraternity Incorporated. Okay, cool. Just wanted to give a shameless plug. Go for it.
Right. Don't be too biased. So, I literally just sat down, and my phone rings, and it's my wife, and she says the sliding glass door blew open, and our sliding glass door is like 90 inches high and 126 inches across, and it's made out of redwood. Like, the whole house was made out of redwood. It's not made out of pine wood, and it was flapping. And she was trying to. She was like, call me an emergency. Like, hey, you need to get home.
Right.
Help me get this sliding glass door. And the winds in the backyard were just blowing like, again, 85, 100 miles an hour. So I raced back home, and we live in the hills. And as I was coming up the hill, we have a hairpin turn, and I heard this tree fall, but I thought it was in back of me. and it ended up 10 feet in front of me. It was a huge tree, but I was in a little Prius, and it would have crushed me if I was a little bit faster. So I dodged that, went around that, finally got home. So we stayed there and stayed in our room during the fire. We ended up having to put a mask on, and the smoke was coming. And then we pushed the towels by the door. We kind of spent the night there. And then next morning, Pasadena police told us we needed to evacuate.
You had to evacuate, okay. So you had to get your house, like it was uninhabitable after that. Is that the case, or you had to get it cleaned up and all that stuff?
Yeah. So we filed a claim because of smoke and ash, right?
Sure.
And so it blew through. You know, we had to file a claim because of the wind damage, and then I had to push back on the insurance company because they're just trying to cut a check, right?
Mm-hmm. Brian talked about that earlier this week. You can't just go with the first option. Even Drasana talked about it too. You got to negotiate, go back and forth.
Yeah. So, and then you start reading a little bit about what could be toxic, you know, the ash and all that. And thank God we did. And I pushed back a couple times and then finally got it straight. Because what ended up happening is, and I kind of warned my neighbors a little bit too, like that smoke and ash ends up in your attic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And your insulation, you're going to be breathing that through the ducts. So I had all the ducts changed, all the insulations changed, plus the sliding glass door just got fixed last week.
Oh, dang.
It's been, So
6 months later.
Yeah, all that. So I've dealt with the insurance company. You know, the checks come dual endorsed with the mortgage company, and you got to deal with the mortgage company. They give you pieces, you know, and I've been doing this for, you know, I've been in the mortgage business for 30 years, but I haven't experienced this side of it where you actually have to, you know, engage with the insurance side and then deal with that. So I'm thinking as this is happening, oh my God, when people have to build and they're going to have to deal with the mortgage company for their draws to pay their contractors, I don't care if it's a builder or not. They got to figure all that out. They have to coordinate that with the mortgage company.
So wait, say that again.
All right. So
explain about that, because I've never heard anybody mention that until you had mentioned it to me at one point.
Really? Okay. All right. So here's a technical. When you have a mortgage, right? You own the house, but you still have a mortgage, right? So you can't just ride off into the sunset with your, let's say, $600,000 check.
Of course.
Let's say you have a $300,000 mortgage on.
Yeah.
So it's going to be co-endorsed to you and the mortgage company.
Wow.
And then so you got to sign the check over to the mortgage company. You got to endorse it. So it's going to say Rouvaun and Mortgage B. So when you do that, you sign it over to them. They manage the financing of the bill.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know why I never heard that. That's interesting to hear.
That's why I'm more than just a builder, brother. It's just It's going to be like the totality of everything. There's no holistic plan.
Yeah.
Everything is compartmentalized. Well, I know this. Well, I know that. No.
Sure.
No, it's going to be part of that. So you got to anticipate what the issues is. So each mortgage company is going to have their own rules of how they're going to distribute those funds.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure out what your mortgage company's rules are to distribute the funds. Now they have their own inspectors. So you got your LA County inspector is going to come, but then you may have the mortgage company's inspector.
Okay.
What's their bureaucracy in terms of, then that may take a week to process. And then there was one check that got lost in the mail. It took 25 days to get to me. Now, luckily, I got funds I can pay my contractors.
Sure, you get reimbursed when you get the check finally, but not everybody's in that situation. So then there's those delays that you mentioned before that could mess with where you're currently staying and the displacement. Okay, okay,
Dude, you can lose a whole crew,
yeah, that's
right?
bananas.
They can go to another project.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
for the builder, for those folks who do owner builder, not owner builder, but design
Yeah.
builder, right?
Mhm.
Most of them float the process until they actually get the money from, in this case, maybe the mortgage company or whomever they get it from. So
That can be, and
that's
so that can be a consideration. So maybe you want to go big in certain instances,
okay, cool. Very
right?
cool.
So if you can, so the floating part is not every builder is built the same, right?
Correct. Correct.
So, and then there's a financing behind the floating,
hmm
right? So some of these dudes have a finance company that they float on,
hmm
right? So it, I'm just the guy who knows the stuff behind the scenes of how it works.
Okay.
And you know, if they don't have that mechanism, you can have that problem. Most don't. And some of the larger ones.
Okay.
But
So now,
you got to know
go
that.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you got to know that to ask the question.
Absolutely. So we've been, again, I wanted to give a background, wanted folks to understand where you got your experience, how you were affected specifically by this fire. And did you have any other properties that you had to deal with up here? I couldn't remember. Without
No,
nothing got burned or
no.
anything like a rental or anything. Okay. So then explain to me then how we got to Dena Phoenix Foundation. What is it? What does it do for people? How did it come about?
Okay, so it came about with just talking to mostly folks who graduated from some high school in Pasadena High School in Unified, right? Either Marshall, PHS, or Muir, just folks that we've known throughout the years. One guy that went to Berkeley with me is Elon. He's a Muir. He went to Marshall.
I'm gonna bring up the website real quick.
Yeah. So we were talking, and I didn't know Elon he's a developer in affordable housing. You know, I mean, he was a dorm mate of mine back my freshman year at Berkeley.
What dorm were you in?
I was in Clark Kirk.
Clark Kerr, of course you were.
Yeah.
I was in Unit 1.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
I was with the athletes.
Yeah. I
You know,
tried.
I've always had good luck with housing. I don't know what.
Right. Sorry, for those who went to Cal, you definitely know the distinction. I think Joe Brumfield was in Unit 3, which is closer to Clark Kerr. But anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
I digress.
Right. So yeah, Clark Kirk was like a luxury suites and all that other stuff. John Hardy was there. John Hardy and Don Lundy were in
New York.
Yeah. So we were talking about. He was talking about the devastation with his family. They lost their house, his aunt and uncle, and cousins, and then we were like, you know, damn, what are we gonna do, man? I mean, it's like. I mean, we're sort of unscathed. I got some minor damage, but you know, people lost everything. I mean, we started adding it up. We were like, you know, over time we were talking. It was like 50 families we knew personally. Like, so we said, look, I built you. Elon has like 4 projects right now, affordable housing as a developer. One's largest one's like $150 million. I mean, he knows the stuff backwards and forwards on the like a multifamily end. My expertise is going to be on the residential end. So we were like, well, hey, we need to. I know the families are going to need help. The disaster relief, the immediate structure, that's going to be covered by everybody in Vermont. What's going to be needed is all the decisions that they are going to have to make after that. Right. So whether and what it boils down is 2 decisions: whether I rebuild or sell. Right. And I just thought there was going to be a lot of misinformation. There could be a percentage of investors that are going to be predatory that's going to come to the city We knew that in January. We knew there's going to be a number of predatory contractors. Every disaster has, right? And there's going to be an attack on the most vulnerable. Also, the third reason was the Black population in Altadena is at a critical stage. You know, I mean, it's about everybody, but we're impacted the most when it comes to gentrification. I mean, Altadena was 43% Black in the 80s. I mean, that's how I remember Altadena. You know what I mean? So, and then I think in 2020 it's down to 18%, and this has a chance to, knock the numbers down to 5% with the acceleration of the fire, if it's not done properly, or if there's no type of strategy or execution like that. So we wanted to put something together for the foundation. The first leg of it is just technical assistance, where if you need help negotiating with the insurance company, we can get you to some insurance adjusters, give you some strategies there. If you need help with SBA, I'm in finance with SBA loans, structuring all of that. But each situation is different. Like, we have them do an intake where we talk to them, consult, and then we kind of verify. We go through a process in terms of verification. And for instance, if they are in a trust, we have the questions like, did you transfer the trust to your trust? A lot of times, no.
Well, right? We found that situation with just homes passed down from generation to generation. The deed wasn't updated. They didn't, take trust out of it. Just it didn't go to the right person. It wasn't in the right person's name when the fire came. Right. So they're having problems right there. Right.
So we need a referral base of trusted attorneys in that space. So, we went to school with a lot of attorneys, and people specialize in different things. So we're partnering with different groups to be resources, because you need to go in this direction. You need to clean this up, right? That could stop you from getting insurance money. That could stop you on a rebuild. Even if you had a trust, we had one client that, two brothers have it, right? He owns a property, but he doesn't know if something happens to him or his brother, they have to go to probate because they didn't transfer the trust into their name and their trust. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we're not giving legal advice, but we're steering you to the legal advice.
Okay.
And so you need to, in that, we build the pictures. So when I do mortgage finance, I get all your information, like your credit report, your pay stubs, your bank statements, and I have a complete financial picture. You got to be transparent so I can structure your deal well goes through.
You got to know where people are in order to help them get to where they want to be.
Exactly. So that's what we do. That part, I took that mortgage experience and said, hey, people need a case manager in terms of what they have and where they are to help them make the decisions, because they could be emotional, or they just want, I don't care what tough decision I was having and what kind of expertise I had. I always wanted somebody just of equal, at least of equal thought, to say,
of course,
that's a good move, or maybe you shouldn't go that direction.
Yeah, maybe you should think about this.
Right.
Or that. Yeah.
Yes. And so you give them a scenario-based, unbiased delivery of the decision. And then it's like in Oakland, 80% rebuild, 20% debt. So there's going to always be a percentage of folks who are going to sell.
Yeah, we definitely recognize that.
Yeah. There's always going to be that. You just hope you try to raise the rebuild percentage as high as possible. So that's why we came up with the Dena Phoenix builders. We got the technical assistance with the foundation. And then I was thinking, okay, on the rebuild end of it, what's needed there? And it's going to be scale, uh, design, all that. So I partnered with a couple of GCs that I've vetted and a design group.
I apologize real quick. If I can pause real quick, I want to focus kind of on this slide before we expand.
Yeah, yeah.
So for the technical assistance, there's, as you had indicated, there's two paths. It's those who are actually thinking about and wanting to rebuild, and you kind of go through again,
Yes.
not giving legal advice or specific your advice per se, but you're guiding people to the right resources and giving them a good path to go through to make that rebuild happen. It's
Yes.
such as the SBA, dealing with the SBA loans, insurance. Talk about structure gap what is structure gap?
Okay.
What does that mean? Real quick, and then we'll jump over to the sell path.
Well, okay. So a lot of people are going to have gap problems in terms of the finance. And so let's say you're
meaning they don't have enough money to accomplish what they're trying to
they're
do.
not going to be able to rebuild with what they got.
Got it.
Right? The insurance was too low. Part of what we do is we read the insurance policy in detail and to see what they got, right? And then, is that enough to rebuild? Are you short? And then if there's a gap, how are we going to fill it? So the waterfall test is, okay, the government has the money. And so you try to do an SBA. The SBA loan rates are pretty low compared to what the market is, probably 4 or 5%. And so if you qualify there, you may need that, and they can supplement what you have. But if you have a mortgage, you have the mortgage, and plus you have the SBA, and so that gets complicated, right? So what
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what the foundation second part is to raise funds for gap funding, right? So we did things for everybody's raising money for relief, like I need food, I need this, that, yeah. No, what's next is I need to rebuild.
Right.
I need help with the money part of it, right? I don't need, and the average gap is going to be around, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be like 250,000.
You think so?
People are going to be, look, if people are going to be short to build, if they're in the gap, like I've seen less and I've seen more, right? And they're, let's say you got a decent check and it was 330,000. Well, are you going to build a 800 square foot house? Your house was 1,600 square feet.
Right. No, it's definitely going to be far more than that. So yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I just know $250,000 is going to be like the average. Yeah, I guess thinking about it, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, but these are
things you can help people figure that out.
So we figure that out, but I'm also going to potential funders for the gap, right? So I wish the event like yesterday that you were doing was about more structured things like that, because that's going to help. We're going to be soon be out of the disaster relief phase into the structured rebuild or sell phase completely. And
quickly.
That's what we're built for. We're built for that phase. We're not going to do the other stuff, right? We're on the decision-making phase, and then how are we going to rebuild? How is that going to happen? So we're talking to institutions. There's other organizations. We're going to do collaborations. There's not going to be one source, one funder. There's never going to be one organization to do 6,000 homes and maybe
to handle everything.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, we talked about that. We were talking about that earlier. So
there's no such thing.
That's right. So that's the people who want to rebuild. Now, for those that 20% that want to sell, or whatever the percentage may happen to be in Altadena, you have another path where you can actually help them find a real estate professional and so forth. Right. So I just want to give a real broad visual of the technical assistance that can be provided. Hey, you want to stay? This is kind of stuff that we can do, or you guys can do. And then if you want to sell, these are the basics. and then you can get into the minutia, the weeds. After you talk about that. Yeah.
I got you. Okay, that's fine. So if you want to sell, if we come to the inevitable, hey, I want to sell. Like, look, if I'm 83 years old, I got underlying health conditions, and I don't have a strong family dynamic generation below me, am I going to go through a rebuild process?
Probably not. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Conversely, I have a 87-year-old who has strong family dynamics and good health, and they want to rebuild, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what's going on. And the reason why those folks want to rebuild is because I'm passing this down anyway. This was meant for them. So whenever I go, it doesn't matter, right? But I want to be enthusiastic, and this gives me a goal for me to stay alive. So I'm gonna see it through, and I'm gonna be able to pass it down to my kids.
Go.
So there's that, and then there's the other one, right? I kind of it's an oversimplification, but both are true and both are accurate. So if you want to sell, inevitably, what comes down to is I don't want people to get taken down, on the sell side. There's predatory people. And I was talking to some clients, I said, well, how much do you think your lot is worth? And they give me a number, and I'm like, no. This lot's go for this.
Yeah, go higher.
He's like, I didn't think of that. I'm like, okay, well, you got one-time shot to get this money, right? So they need representation. So a group of us have come together for that, but also underneath that, I'm talking with other organizations that have more resources to have a legacy initiative. Like, there's people that want to come back to Altadena, and they were just sort of they moved away for various reasons, right?
Yep.
Like when I went to Turkey Tussle first time in a long time, a couple of years ago, I was amazed at how many people weren't living in Altadena anymore, right? And they were just like, Rouvaun, we can't afford it.
Yeah, they're priced out. I mean, shoot, Tony, our co-host, she lives in San Dimas because she was priced out. She would have loved to have been in Altadena, but when she was ready to buy, it wasn't, it wasn't in the cards, like for most folks, like you're saying.
Right. So what we're coming up with is what we call a legacy initiative. Like, if we can get some of that gap funding money towards some of the land money, maybe we can bring those people back as owner builders and they can afford it. So
you're going to train them on that process. That's part of it, right?
So I want to yes, correct. I want to train them on the process, qualify them for the construction loans.
Interesting.
We got even folks even buying land in community land trusts already. And I got a couple proposals out to some large institutions right now that are going to take a look at it. And I got some more lined up, ready to line up in the next week or so. So there's a whole structure that needs to take place. If you come through us or somebody else, that's what we're working on. Because inevitably, if you want to sell, people are going to say, well, I wish I could sell to somebody from Altadena. Or some people say, I wish I could sell to somebody X.
Yeah.
And so that needs to be strategized, planned out, and executed. That's not going to happen by happenstance. You got to come up with a solution. You got to have the resources for it. And then people are looking to give. But going back to when Elon and I got together, we were like, we got to build the structure, because when there's going to be resources available, but you got to direct the resources to where there's a need.
Where they're needed, yep.
Yeah. And they're looking for people on the ground to do that. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
And so that's kind of what Brian he kind of alluded to a little earlier in the week. He had kind of spoke for quite a while at the beginning of one of our shows, referencing the fact that people are complaining. And in this case, it's the people who are complaining but aren't making an effort to find out where the resources are. But there are also another group of people who know that they need something but don't know where to find the resources. So sounds like what Dena Phoenix Foundation and Fund is actually doing is helping people, helping match those two together, right?
Correct. Yes.
So that's really cool.
Right.
And for those who are just joining, this is Rouvaun Walker from Dena Phoenix Foundation and Fund. He's actually explaining what his foundation is able to do for the folks in Altadena, whether you want to rebuild or you want to sell. He's actually providing, a resource to guide you through that path. So again, welcome and thank you for joining. And we'll pick up where we left off. Okay. Any other part of the website or thing that you want to share?
No, we're going to be continue to build out the website with all those initiatives that we talked about. Our board meeting is tonight, and everybody's like on board, ready to go, enthusiastic about the mission. The mission is clear because a lot of folks either have ties with Altadena, from Altadena or Pasadena, and or just flat out care, and they don't want to see us lose like that, like through fire like that. Like
absolutely.
So the whole thing is to build an ecosystem. It's not any one thing. It's like a holistic approach to fire victims, so they're made whole one way or the other. That's what.
So, are you actually meeting with folks at this moment at this joint? Okay, how are you getting the word out? How are people hearing about it, short of platforms like this?
Well, we're starting to get out there. So we're going to be out on the weekends in events like that.
Are you going to have your own?
Yeah. So, and then there's another foundation that's talking about getting us an office in Altadena or Pasadena Lake or something. So hopefully that'll come through for that as well, because we want to be have a physical presence in office. But I do have an office. I can meet at the Cochran Law Firm in LA if I need to. If they would need a physical presence right now temporarily. And then some of the folks I've known for years, so they can meet me here, like in the house. Like if it was you, I would just meet you over here.
Sure.
But so it's either the Cochran firm or it's going to be we'll have a place hopefully in Altadena in the next month or so.
Yeah, and I see you have Dena Foundation, DenaPhoenixFoundation.com. So for those of you who want to check out the website and see the details there, you can get the information. You can also input your information, correct? It's like an intake form, so you can communicate now. And I know you're going to expand to other socials, so that's coming. But I do have a question, and I'm sure folks haven't. I mean, it's common for everybody. What kind of prices? For these services that you're offering? What would somebody look at if they're trying to initially consult with you if they want to rebuild? That kind of thing.
So, the foundation, the technical assistance is free, right? We're going after grants and all that for the technical assistance. For that, the rebuild is going to be a square footage based on the project itself. I mean, you're probably looking at right now. We're probably looking at about 400, 350 to 450 a square foot. I've heard quotes for higher, but
we've had some folks quote much higher, but then they've changed it. So the people we've been dealing with, at least the builders we've kind of grown an affinity for, have been around the upper 300s to lower 400 per square foot range, and they've figured out a system in order to make that work consistent.
You have to. I mean, because look, the insurance is not going to pay 500 a square foot, right? They're more, actually they're behind. They're like 250, 300 sometimes. But there's some insurance with caveats that say, if the costs go up, then we'll help you out. And then there's some that have a hard cap and that's it and go take a hike. So it just depends on the insurance. So, and then, some people are a little bit more well off than the others. So the Phoenix Foundation is absolutely free. The builder is the builder, and the sale is the sale. I mean, it's just normal real estate. You just want to be represented well and make sure that that you are you get what you deserve.
Yeah, and so the page I'm actually showing right now is a little bit more detailed than the original one, but it still breaks down if they want to buy, they want to sell, and the basic steps, right?
Yeah.
The intake form, the rebuild team, should you want to do that, and it shows all the people that qualify for it: fire victims, seniors, heirs, nonprofits. You got to have ownership interest or documented claim, and fund access requires agreement on exit or shared equity structure. Yeah, that's
the build is like you need it's more than just you need somebody there the whole time, like from concept to keys. You need to be your handheld. It's just like a mortgage loan to somebody buying a house, but
absolutely
it's a longer journey, and so you need people that've been through it. Like it's not just a builder, but you got to be are you a homeowner? You'd be amazed at how many people sell real estate and do mortgages and build homes and don't own them.
I've known quite a few. I was in the mortgage side for a ton of years, and quite a few people that were salespeople didn't actually own homes. Yeah, it's hard to believe because you kind of have a different conversation with somebody if you've gone through the process. Right. You know some of the shortfalls or some of the little tricks of the trade to actually make things work better. So yeah, it is kind of surprising. Right. So those folks who are builders and maybe they haven't built their own home, it'd be surprising if they hadn't, but I'm sure there are some out there.
Right. No, usually. So you have a good contractor, you have a good builder. There's going to be it's going to be this is anecdotal, but it's going to be 50-50. So you got some. What happened in Oakland was the good contractors are the ones that went all the way through the process. The good builders, some people got fired, and then other teams were brought on, and the ones who thrive were the ones who actually did good work, and that's right. So it may not be who you started off with. It may be who you end up with, right? And that kind of reputation kind of builds throughout the cycle. It's just you don't want to get taken in the meantime because it costs money to get taken.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's the one thing we do not want to have happen to the folks, or we don't want it to happen to anybody, but we know it's inevitably going to. But hopefully, if we can keep that to a low percentage by having as many people who are reputable, who really have the good interest of Altadena in mind, participate in the rebuild. Because again, returning back to what we've said multiple times, no one group, no one builder, no one organization is going to be able to do everything. So it's got to be a collective, right? It's got to be a group effort. And if as long as we can know all the resources and share them with people, I think we will definitely thrive and have Altadena come back bigger, badder, stronger than it was before. Absolutely. Thanks, Marcus. Great insight. Okay, yeah.
We're also, I mentioned the Cochran firm. We're also this Rouvaun Cloud. A lot of the attorneys have descended on Altadena for everybody to sign up and, sue Edison, of course, right? And eventually something's going to happen. But the problem they found was that, whatever they settle or whatever the trial may be or whatever, that's years away. And they got all these clients signed up. And I was like, well, everybody needs something now. So we're doing some up on our board. We're going to do some work with their clients who are fire victims and give them the technical assistance there. They're all for it because you can't I hope everybody's made whole through the settlement, right? But that's going to be years away. and people need help now. So they realize that, and so a couple of them called us in. That's what we're.
Okay. Now, I know you gave me an amount of time that you had available. I don't want to go too far over that. I know we're only an hour in, but I want to offer the folks who are listening to type in some questions if you have any questions for Rouvaun about his knowledge in general or about Dena Phoenix Foundation. So please go ahead and type in those questions. And while we wait for those, I want to move on to another section of your website where you're mentioning, basically how you can participate in joining the mission. You want to explain this and how people can, get involved with the organization on the different levels?
Yeah. So we got Make Recovery Possible. So look, I'm going after institutional folks that have a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of money for this gap. That's really big. And so we have these corporate decks ready to go. We're sending them out to maybe an institution wants to sponsor a family, like get it down to that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Where it's not a grandiose ask. Maybe it's, hey, we got one. If we got a couple $100,000, we can get to this one family and figure that story out, and then that's the impact. So we got these different levels that we're going after to, so they join the fight. Again, it's not going to just be disaster relief forever. This is going to be a 2, 3, 4 year project, 5 years.
We anticipate 5. Yep.
Yeah. Well, the Oakland Hills was a great example. So they can give now, and then our foundation is a fiscal sponsor by Charity on Top. So what that means is, unfortunately, the IRS is backed up because half the IRS is cut off. So the 501c3, we have to be sponsored by a parent entity. And that's fine with me because I don't have to do all the compliance work. So it goes to Charity on Top, who we have an agreement with, and they hold the money there. And then as we need the funds, with whatever specific area it is, they allocate the funds to us. So that's how you can participate by giving. If you're an institutional investor, it's fine. If you know somebody that was in the fire that can use the services, like they are in that decision, and it's a really a lonely lane that they're in. And because I've been there, right? So and then so you want to refer people, you can refer people, right? Give them a heads up, like, hey, I referred you to this foundation. Just go in there and click the button, and then we'll contact them or you in 48 hours or so. And then what was it?
To build local solutions together.
Yeah. Yep. So we're coming up with the builder. We already came up with the builder. So the building, Dena Phoenix Builders, is just us vetting out our builders and getting into agreement with them, the design team and the builder team, so we can have one fluid process. And then we're going to have GCs that are based on that. But the GC that we have now is capable of building 50 homes a year, and it can expand that. So my thought was, you can't go the mom and pop, because the average builder the small guy can probably do 2 to 5 well, and then juggle that, right? And that's great. But what about scale, right? What about if I'm gonna do this whole block, then are you capable of doing that whole block? And then also the thought was, all right, what kind of material are you gonna put back? Right. So one of my GCs specializes in steel framing and non-combustible products. So, they've already built in Altadena before. There's a section of Altadena that they've framed before those, and the houses are standing with these steel structures on there.
Oh wow, okay.
And that helps in earthquakes as well. So with anything, the last thing after you get your keys, you still have to pay insurance again. So anything that can mitigate to slow down the cost of that insurance after everything is said and done, you're going to need to do. It's going to need to be thought out, right? So those are some of the things that you can ask as well to other builders. And look, you don't have to go with us. That's not even what it's about. What we'll help you do, though, is we'll help you vet your builder. Right? Even do that. So it's like, no, we're gonna go with, okay, well, let's go over, let's check the workers' comp, let's check the bond, let's go over the referral. Let's do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, because at the end of the day, we just want to make sure people are made whole when they walk into their house. I mean, we're from here, right? We went to school with each other. You know what I'm saying? We've known each other. We fought each other. We hit me in the nose, in basketball. You know what I'm saying? We've been through a lot. So, we ain't going nowhere. So that's the bottom line. We just want people made whole and then be able to pass that wealth down as it should. This house right here is passed down well. That's what it is, right? So we're living it.
Man, outstanding. B, did you have any questions, man?
No, I have a statement, Rouvaun. I resemble that compliance remark. Because that's who I am for our foundation. I'm the one so I know exactly what you're trying to avoid.
Right.
It's a lot of work.
I own a mortgage company. I don't need any more compliance. I mean, we're the most regulated industry in the country. So I don't need any additional stuff. So that's another reason why we did that. But,
yeah, that's my job. I'm in the background making sure all of our attorney general paperwork is filed, making sure that we're compliant. Yeah, well, we here's what I'm not ungrateful for the money we received. I just wish it would have been received on July 1st instead of June, because now I can't just do the postcard. I got to actually file the 990 easy. So, and that's going to take, where did you spend the money? What did you do? Who did you give something to? Was it legit? But, it's all of that. So, luckily for us, we have an accountant on board. So, I don't have to do majority of this for this foundation. However, I sit on 9 other nonprofit boards. So I got all of them compliant. 3 of them are actually in Pasadena.
But you got to answer all the questions. You got to, the bookkeeper and the accountants got questions. What'd you do? I know. I
know. That's why I send them the whole, here's the statement. Go from there.
Let me know what you need.
Yeah, well, that's what Tracy just got finished asking me. And so, what was this expenditure for this product? Mm-hmm. Oh, you okay? What's the? I said, dang, it's only 7 things on there. So just imagine when it's 29.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot next month.
Mm-hmm.
when we get ready to start doing all of our events. And one of the things that we're going to be doing, we're going to be creating an event to go to in August. And Rouvaun, we definitely want to extend an invite to you to be there.
Okay.
Because we've seen all of the events that have gone on, and now it's time for us to participate. And ours is going to be a combination of all of them. Some for the kids, some for the seniors, and some for people who want to talk about what they're going through. Just like what you just mentioned about what you're going through or what you went through. Yeah. And we're just here. We're just trying to make sure this happens. So we do really want you to come back on, because this is going to be an ongoing thing. Yeah. And you're going to probably say, well, the last time we talked, 17 people have reached out, and, we're moving forward. I know a lot of people don't like to reveal themselves or expose themselves or be transparent. But at this time or juncture in this situation, everything that you go through can help the next person.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want. We really want you guys, for those that are watching, if you suffer smoke damage, how long did it take for them to get you back up to par? Come on the show, let's talk about it, because we hear from a lot of professionals. We don't necessarily hear from a lot of people who went through it. So last night at the event, I got to talk to at least 6 people who went through things, and some of them are still going through things. Like if you look at it, the one couple is still fighting with their insurance to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 6 months. So,
That's
you know, it is. And, you know, just the sorrow. I was trying to bring some jovial attitude towards it and start off, you know, kind of joking. But when you get down to the seriousness, you can see it in the faces of the people I was talking to.
Yeah.
It's like something that, like when you get in a car accident, and a real bad one, now you got this phobia about riding in cars. Every time somebody drives, hey, slow down. Like, even if I slow down, we can still get rammed by a truck. So, you know, there's things you got to learn to kind of deal with so that it won't become a burden in your life. It won't become the stressor that sits on your back, you know. And so,
yeah. So, yeah, in terms of being in the background and coming forward, and in the foundation, everything's private. We sign a privacy agreement. You know, we get a lot of data from folks, and I'm used to that as a mortgage guy. I mean, because I tell people when I do their mortgage loan, I'm gonna know more about you financially than everybody in your whole family.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm supposed to in order for you to get a house, right? Mm-hmm. Or buy this piece of real estate. So we that transparency and that trust is needed, and that's what people. That's why the reluctance is there. It's the lack of trust in all of this. People are fearful. Mm-hmm. Number one, they don't really want to make the decision.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And then number two, they've never seen this amount of money if they do get the insurance money.
Ever. We talked about that too. Yeah.
Right. And they're making moves that they shouldn't make. For instance, I have one client. They paid off their mortgage. Now they get short to build.
Wow.
Right. And so if I'm there ahead of time, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Right.
You can guide them in the right way to do it.
What you should do. Right.
Yeah.
And so
I'm curious, and sorry to interject, but as you come across these scenarios, are you guys going to develop like a FAQ, a series of maybe questions that are like general questions that people might have that'll give like maybe a generic response? Like, hey, at least consult with somebody before you do this scenario, because this and that might happen.
That's a good idea.
Because that's a scenario that I'm sure several people have encountered or may be about to embark on.
Yeah, as soon as they get the check, they're like, well, let me put $100,000 on this mortgage. I won't never see it again. But but now you only got dirt at your house and you can't build it, like unless you're going to make it smaller. You know what I'm saying? So, correct. You know, so FAQs, I'll put that on there. What we built is so far is waterfalls, what we call waterfalls. Mm-hmm. And so if you answer a question, then this, right? And you go through this waterfall or that waterfall or this waterfall or this solution. So the FAQs, we kind of need that as we go, but we built the waterfalls in the background to assist the case management piece.
And that's really cool. When you told me about your concept, because we talked a few months ago, and you were telling me about what you were trying to do or planning on doing, I was impressed then. I personally am impressed even more so now because of how quickly you've gotten it to the point where it is now, where it's up, it's running, you guys are moving, you're talking to people, you're providing the advice or the guidance, right? And looks like firing on all cylinders. You're just getting the momentum going, but I'm very impressed, and I really appreciate you sharing this information with us. And to Brian's point, hope you definitely come on multiple times just to give us updates, share what's going on. Definitely partner with us. Let us know what other things you have, if you have events, so we can make sure that people attend and get the knowledge.
Yeah, I think we're going to do some events, especially on the legacy side as well. That needs to be structured and in place so we can bring folks back. That can't be haphazard, right? That has to be, and that was inspired by somebody that we went to school with at Berkeley saying, "I want to come back."
Wow.
And so I'm like, I looked at her like, like a dog is curious, and then like epiphany moment. Like, well, you know what? You would qualify, actually. You know what I'm saying? I can put the numbers together and make it actually happen. Like,
yeah, make it work.
Right, like make it work. So that kind of thought, those are what people are not thinking of, right? But it comes through inspiration of real life events. Like that was a moment that happened. So the light bulb goes off, and then I'm like, okay, well, can I replicate her? And I don't have these pie in the sky type of dreams of grandeur. I'm like, can I get 10 people to come back?
Right. If you can just get one, and like
can I get 5? Can I?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That would have sold to someone else, some investor that actually wants to be in Altadena and Pasadena. That's what I want.
Right. I'm sorry. You mentioned, and you alluded to this before, but you were talking about investors investing in Altadena. And this, I just want you to reiterate what you had said. We're not talking about investors who are going to build, just, multi-unit family properties, or just try to just get rich off the property. You're talking about individuals who want to acquire property, rebuild a home, but potentially, provide it to someone who kind of was Altadena before, right?
Yeah.
At least initially, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, the way I'm structuring it, and I shot a proposal out to a larger nonprofit intermediary, where, like, okay, we acquire the land, but we acquire the land with some type of subsidy, right? And then we build, or we have our owner build, one of the two. And then they get in subsidized, right? So because our main goal is affordability. Like, I know if I build a 1,500, 1,600 square foot house in Altadena, at the end of it's going to be worth $1.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. Will be. I just saw the card that came through the mail that showed me the house that was just that, right?
Exactly. It's the one I lived in was 1.2, and and that was built in 1950, 1940. But the thing is, when everything is built back, everything's going to be up to code. There's not going to be any unpermitted structures that were added on later. So we're going to take full advantage of all the property, all the square footage on the property, and even add an extra ADU because, according to the tax assessor, you should be able to go up a few hundred square feet so that you'll be able to do what you need to do. So, hey, that garage is looking mighty nice for that new office.
Right. Exactly. Right. So all that needs to be accounted for. So that's what we're trying to do. So with that, we're like, hey, can we do some affordable housing? If it's out of the scope, if it's big, then maybe we have some investors who want to take on a big project or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, our goal is affordable housing. Bring folks up. That's what we do.
Cool. Yeah, you got a lot going on, and I like it personally. Again, Rouvaun Walker with Dena Phoenix Foundation and Fund. We have his telephone number here if you guys want to reach out and communicate with him and start the process of getting some guidance. And he also has it's 323-510-7152. And then you also have the website, DenaPhoenixFoundation.com. Now, one thing that I've done, I've actually gone to your contact form and on the page. So this is what you had mentioned before. If you go there and you want to, sign up and get contacted by his group, you go ahead and go to the contact form. You put your name, email, and a message, and go ahead and send it. And he had indicated somewhere between 2 and 3 days, he'll be able to get back to you and, start the help process.
There's referral forms. Each page has a button for you to get in contact with us, and just fill out the information there. That's a general contact. There's a donate button for the 501c3 portion. If you're like, hey, I don't have 250,000, but you may have 50. You may have 100 to make sure we get out to other folks that need assistance, because it's not going to be about getting to. It's not going to be about just disaster relief the whole time. This is going to be we're moving into the next phase, and that's what we're going to need to be.
Got you. So if they want a consultation, they would go to the What We Do tab. Yeah. And at the bottom, they go ahead and click on the apply for consultation. Yeah. And that'll then bring them to this page. It's an intake form where they put their information and the basics. And upon that, that's when you're talking about the 2 to 3 days and reaching out, correct?
Yeah, 2 or 3 days reaching out. It pings us, and then we reach out. We schedule the intake. Now, we can do a Zoom call like this, and then have ability to upload documents. We go through the documents, and then we come to a full assessment. Like, hey, this is what we're seeing. It can be a long process. It's not instant. And then it's like, okay, you need this resource, that resource. Here's a referral for this. Come back to us after that. You'll be ready, or you're ready, or you're short, or you're good to go. Right? We read your insurance. If the costs go up because of the tariffs, you're protected. So go for it. Do you want to build, or hey, you want to sell? Let's see what that looks like. Let's curate those type of buyers for that sale. That's ultimately the whole goal, is try to help them make that A or B decision, because it's going to be A or B.
Right on. Well, cool. We're at an hour and almost 30 minutes, man. I feel it was a great conversation. Hopefully the audience felt that way. And as we've indicated, definitely want to have you come back, because you have some really good, insight in terms of how to deal with this situation, and you have good plans for trying to assist folks to maneuver through these crazy times.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's not just me. Our board meeting's tonight, and I think we got room for 1 or 2 more on the board.
Here we are.
If y'all want to come on, that's fine. That's cool.
We could talk about that.
Brian said he on 15 boards.
Right. He's like already on 150.
Well, I'll bring you in, Jamal. I like it.
Right.
So the bottom line is, look, if you want to get closer to what we're doing, because I can't even talk about everything that we got planned across the board, because some things are in the planning stages.
Yeah.
And we're negotiating with folks, collaborating with other nonprofits as well. And because the issue is bigger than me, you, and whoever, right? It's beyond that. Multiple folks need help, all different shades. And we just want to restore our community. That's all about.
Absolutely. Now, there was a question that came up. I'm not sure. Well, it says, what's the biggest challenge you've had when sorting out your organization and getting a good system going?
Now, are we talking about what Rouvaun is talking about?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
About a nonprofit in general.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure.
We need to know what the question, who you're directing it to. I mean, right. I can answer if you're asking me for it.
This same person had a couple other posts. He says, hey, what's up? I was the one that sent you the videos from the Altadena fire. This is Expanded Minds podcast. And then a lot of history there. My grandpa lived up in West Altadena. And then
so Rouvaun, that's directed to you.
Okay.
So the question was, what's the biggest challenge you've had when sorting out your organization and getting a good system going?
The biggest challenge is, well, I'm a naturally talented planner. It's just going to be about designing it, getting it up and going, doing all the heavy lifting first yourself and you between other people, and then delegating, building your team and delegating. And that's how you scale. So the challenge is dedicating time to first think it through, write out the plan, and then execute the plan. Those are all challenges. So I just know what to do. Like, I know how to put up a foundation because I worked for a foundation before. And on the build in, a lot of it is just what I do as a professional, and then what I've experienced personally. So I've experienced all this stuff. So the difficult part, is just getting it off the ground in your time. Really, that's pretty much it. I can organize myself pretty well. It's just the time itself, because I've spent a lot of time just to get it to this point.
Yeah, experience is the best teacher.
Yeah,
you know that is. Yeah. It definitely is, man.
Like, I make a mistake over here. Well, I'm gonna do that with this one over here. Make sure.
Right.
And I think that's one of the challenges with a lot of people who don't want to move forward or who are hesitant. Like in this particular situation, they don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to regret having done something incorrectly. But to start with a service like yours, to have a consultation to kind of guide them through that process, I think is really good. And any other advice they take from others in terms of getting multiple, dealing with multiple people or getting bids for multiple people, not just going with the first one. Like what Brian was saying and Drazana was saying, even you, Rouvaun, hey, don't just take the first thing that you got from or offer that you got from the insurance company. Negotiate. Don't do the same thing with FEMA and first, Red Cross and all these other relief things. You have to stand up for yourself. And a lot of people are really finding out that they have to do that, especially in this situation. And hopefully they get figure that out and use that for the rest of the way they move in life.
Well, also, here's what you realize: you can't do it by yourself. So I'm using every network in my life, like almost. So I'm using. I'm part of NARAB, so which is a real estate organization, right? I'm using that. I'm using college. I'm using high school. I'm using fraternity. I'm using professionals, right? I'm utilizing people I've come in contact that I haven't really dealt with in years. So all to put it together and then to make it fit so we can move forward together, because everybody understands. They just need the plan, right? They just need the plan of action. They feel it, they know, but it's gonna. You have a few builders, and the builders should build. They shouldn't hide. They should come out, because beyond the fire, people need help.
Right.
They need a clear path. So it's time to speak up. And good folks. There's too many bad actors out there that are bold and will be the loudest. And so a lot of times the folks with good roots need to step up and do what they're supposed to do.
Great point. Very good point. We have one last question from the same individual. Is it also marketing in the right way? It's something that takes time.
Yeah, so there's you can market different ways. So we're going to market in several different ways. One is to be out there in the community. I mean, just without saying, right? And then the other one is my wife she used to be PR person for Lugasa, right? For a lot of stars. So I got the PR angle built in house, and then we're going with other institutions that already have clients, and then going to them. That comes from my wholesale background. I'm like business type of transactions as well. So they already got the clients. So why do I go to search for the clients that they already have? Right? Those clients need help now. So that's
I thought you was done with the video games, man.
Right.
What?
I like Dig Dug in the background.
I thought you was done with the video games.
I am. No, that's my.
You might be over there looking like, sure.
Yeah. I don't play video games no more. I used to buy them every year. Like I used to buy Madden every year, and it would stay in the plastic. That's how
like collectible. Okay.
I would just never did.
I think that's bad, Jamal. When I was staying up at your house in Vegas, I played the 2006 Madden so much that I got the top score for what's his name? Ben Roethlisberger, 158.3 or something at the QB rating. Man, I was making videos of my accomplishments. You do it on replay because it lets you do the replay. I'm like, oh yeah, he was dodging it. Oh yeah. I would just stop the game and just watch myself. I accomplished that, yeah. And now I send it out to people. They're like, why are you sending us this stuff, man?
Right. You were Twitch before Twitch.
Well, I was buying the video games for my son, right? And I occasionally go in there and
play around with it.
Yeah, get hooked for 2 hours.
Then I got my butt kicked in 2K or whatever it was. I had them for years. You know what I'm saying? I would come in like once at Christmas or something like that and play them. And in football, you just couldn't. He couldn't figure out the plays. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, his consciousness hit a different level. His skills hit a different level. I'm like, And then I just flat out never played after that. I was like, I ain't even playing with him no more.
Right.
So to elaborate on Expanded Minds podcast question about marketing, of course, we have a company called StyleClick Media that exclusively does marketing. And one of the things that I always tell people is to nix ads in the beginning, because you have to do grassroots. It's got to be organic. You got to start posting before you do ads. If you do an ad and I come to your page and you got 2 posts, I am never coming back. What would be the point?
Yeah, got to have that content first.
Not only that, but when you're doing a niche, say you want to do drone stuff, Facebook is a great place. I know all you youngsters want to be on Instagram, but Instagram doesn't have groups that you can interact with, that you might be able to do business with. So I was telling Rouvaun and Jamal earlier, I'm attached to 6,000 groups on Facebook. And you might think I'm lying, but I can show you the numbers. Every time we got a client, say it's a food client, what do? I go join 50 food groups. Mm-hmm. Then I go and see how they're doing things. Some of them might let you post without approving. Some have rules where you can't post but on Fridays if you're trying to self-promote, but you got to go read the rules. Then find out who the admins are and send them a message. Hey, I got this business trying to get off the ground. How much would it cost me to be able to put my thing on your page and reach your group? I'm giving y'all some secrets I don't normally tell, because right now I'm in the nonprofit sector, so I'm not really focusing on marketing right now. So the secrets, I'll give you the secrets. Once you do that, for instance, this podcast, if you look at the bottom of the Facebook page, it's been shared to 40 groups, all pertaining to Pasadena or San Gabriel Valley or Burbank or Glendale, because not one media outlet is still talking about Altadena. And that's where our niche is strong.
Yeah, not regularly, for sure.
Regularly, every day. So media stopped coming to Altadena in March. They don't exist anymore out there. They come occasionally if one of the assembly people come or one of the senators show up. Of course, they send out their press releases. We don't do that. We haven't sent a press release. Well, I think we sent out 2 press releases, but only to announce what we're doing for people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to my website and you go to brianbacchus.com/business-credit, you will see everything that I tell you on how to get your business started, get a business loan, manufacturer spending, business loan guides, business credit qualifications, list of free tools and apps to run your business, forming your nonprofit, and after forming your nonprofit, all the compliance stuff that you need to do. I give this away. How to start a youth sports organization. I give this away. Why? Because a lot of people don't even like to read for free. So I'm not going to charge you to do something that you could clearly be doing yourself. So when people ask me, hey, what's your marketing tips? I say, go to my website. Guess what they do? They don't go to it. They sit there. In fact, Jamal, click on number 10, forming your nonprofit in California. Simple. Costs you about $800. If you have me do it, it costs you about $3,500 starting, because I'm going to do more of the compliance stuff. Now, mind you, it's a long list right there, right? You're going to do the first 5, and then you're going to quit. I already know you. Not you particular who I'm talking to, but I'm already knowing how people are. Setting up your LLC to be business compliant, credit worthy, business structure set up to get credit. A lot of people don't do it that way. They get an LLC, they get an EIN, they open a bank account. I'm in business. Where's your insurance? Where's your license? Where's your, other things that you need? Where do you have a Gmail account? That's bad for business. Don't say you ABC company, but you got abc@gmail.com. I don't believe you. Your business not showing up. Where's your Google My Business listing so I can verify you? In fact, how many search engines are you on? That is all given to you right there. But at the bottom of everything, that you click on, it says, or pay us to do it. But here's all the steps, but pay us to do it if you don't feel like doing it. So it's not about really any marketing secrets. It's just really grassroots and reading. Reading is like right now, we're getting taken over by AI. You're either going to let AI run you, or you're going to run AI. One of the two. I get people talking about, I'm about to lose my job. What do? I'm a lighting guy in the movies. How are you about to lose your job? AI is about to take over. Well, beat AI to it. Take a picture of the set. Plug it into ChatGPT. Ask it to light the scene for horror. Where should I place the lighting? It's going to tell you. Now, it's up to you if you want to embrace it or not. But we talk about this stuff all the time. We're doing it. Everywhere you go, you see our shorts on YouTube. You see our postings. I'm not posting that stuff. I'm asleep. It's doing it automatically. Embrace the technology before it embraces you. And that's all I really wanted to talk about. I'm just trying to give people I get a lot of these questions. Hey man, can you help me with my marketing? Absolutely not. You can go to my website though and get up to speed, and then come back to me when you need me to do the real stuff. Because I'm not going to show you how to do cheesy stuff that you could actually learn how to do yourself. Real simple. Like we do a lot of, we use CapCut a lot. We use InVideo a lot. We use majority of these tools a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to say other than you see what we do. So
I think you said it enough.
Tech Tuesdays. We have a whole group where we show you how to do stuff. You can go join it. I think we have a, what do you call that? I'm getting a lot of calls right now. Everybody's like, ain't your podcast over?
It's a group. Yeah, it'll be in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
What is it? Tech Tuesday? With AI.
Tech Tuesdays AI, I believe, is the thing. I think we have it up here. But this is basically where you go to learn how to do stuff. I mean, I like to teach people, but I like to teach people in a way that you can follow along and go see different things. Now, lately I've been posting our stuff here from the podcast, but if you go to like some of the videos in the video section or some of the pictures, I show you how to create text prompts to create image to video. I teach you how to make, that thing where you come out there. See, click on that one. Click on like the third.
This one?
Yeah, these were my comedy things. So these are things I like to create. So I said, have a kid run across the street. I was getting hit by a car, and have a Armenian dude and an Asian lady arguing over it. And that's what you get. You get all these things. Right. Or like that one right there. Go to the second row. You see the couple smoking cigars.
What is that, Midjourney?
That one. No, this is what was this? This was chat.
Yeah. Okay.
This not, you don't even have to pay for it.
It's gotten better.
Midjourney does have greater looks, but the prompts are what you want to do. Now, Jamal, do we have one where I was we had showed to business people? I forgot what it's called, man. I think it's called AI for Work. Yeah, AI for Work. That prompt is like this long. It's long. Remember that? And but it's written in such a precise manner that you're going to get the result that you're looking for. A lot of people only writing prompts this big. Okay, like when we did our ones with the babies, we turned ourselves into babies.
Yeah.
Simple prompts. We use Kling AI. I mean, I don't mind telling people this stuff because I don't care. I mean, if you really want to know when things come out and how good they are, there's a website called there'sanaIforthat.com.
Yeah.
And since 2015, they have kept track of every AI that has came out.
Wow.
So, and if you go into it right now, you'll probably see 4 of them that came out today.
Yeah, I mean, they send you an email every day.
Yeah, it's like the archive.
Yeah.
Let you know.
Send an email every day. Yeah, that's crazy. So, sorry to cut B off. We have, and especially him, have a wealth of knowledge we can share on virtually anything related to business, especially when it comes to marketing, and in particular lately the nonprofit. But I know Rouvaun is running out of time, and he definitely has another meeting.
Yeah, because he went from standing up to sitting down almost off the camera now. He was used to that podium speaker mode.
Yeah, I got to project.
Right.
Yeah, I need to get me one of those desks that raises up because sometimes I get tired of sitting there.
Oh, yeah, you got to do it, man. You actually keeps your stomach flat.
Well, Sherry has one, but it's over there.
I need that.
I don't have it in here. I'm in the little closet. Like I got I don't even know what this is. 6x6 space, 7x7. But hey, it works.
Yeah, whatever works.
That's right. So Rouvaun, thank you again for coming on, sharing your insight, your experience, and your new foundation, Dena Phoenix Foundation. Again, we hope you come back very soon. And hope you have a great rest of your day. Before you go, is there anything you want to leave the audience? Any comment or words of wisdom?
Look, just if you need help in making decisions, and you just need a person that been through what you've been through, not exactly, but enough, right? And that's an expert at it. Then just go to the website, fill out the form, and then we can talk about it, right? That's where you start. It's completely private, but don't be afraid to raise your hand and say, hey, I need help in this situation. This is a life event. Like you don't experience this every day.
Right.
So you don't walk the path alone. And, once you make the decision, then think about it, chew on it. If you feel good about it, move forward. That's all.
Cool. All right, man. Well, we appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And we'll definitely be in contact. Please keep us up to date with how things are progressing, and we'll plan a time for you to come on back. And we absolutely have to collaborate.
All right, all right. Appreciate you guys. Go Mustang.
Thank you, man. That's
No,
right.
we do
Peace, man. Take care. All
So
right.
to get back to expanded minds, we also have the creative suite. We have all of it. We just, certain things are used for certain things. Now, I like quick. So I don't really like going in there and trying to be real creative with the new AI for Photoshop and all of that. It's great for somebody who has the patience. I know as an editor, when I edit my drone footage and my camera footage, I use Premiere Pro, but I love Premiere Rush. It's simple. It's easy. It's quick. You can pop your bottom third up, the lower third up. You can pop the logo up. You pop this up and export it, and you're done. I don't have to worry about the ticker. I don't need that, for certain things. But if I go into Premiere and I'm doing like a 4-person podcast and is recording to each separate channel, and I don't want to edit it and go in there and say, okay, now this guy's speaking, so let me jump cut over here. They have an AI that does it automatically for you. You just put all 4 videos in with the 4 tracks. Bam, there you go. I don't necessarily like to do anything hard. I've forgotten more than most people will ever learn. And I think I'm over my storage capacity in my brain. In fact, I know I'm over my storage capacity on my desktop because I had to go buy 12 terabyte drives just to transfer things over to free up the stuff on my system. Now, another thing, your system really matters. I mean, I know people out there, I got this, I got that. Like, unless you build a server that has 512 gigs of RAM and you use that for your workstation, you ain't gas squat. I'm sorry, I don't really want to hear it. I don't. I mean, Jamal and I both have the top Lenovo laptop that they've ever built to this date so far. We bought them 5 years ago. It's the Lenovo P73. It's got 128 gigs of RAM. It's got 4 terabytes of space. It's got a 4K video card, so you'll be able to show your screen on a movie theater screen. That's how much resolution. Yeah. He said, just did a transfer of an external SSD today. Dude, I'm in the process of moving 9 terabytes over to this backup, and just so I could clear these drives up to fill them back up again. As you know, you film with drones, that's 4K. Sometimes they film in 6K, some go to 8K. So those files are huge. So if a 1 minute, no, let's just say 30 minutes. If a 30-minute video is normally 1 gig on 1080p, it's going to be 4 times that on 4K 30. It's going to be 6 times that on 4K 60. And if you film in 8K, you can do the math. It's going to be 8 times. So that same 30 minutes is going to take up 8 gigs of your space. Well, I don't have drones anymore. They burned up. But I had the DJI Mavic Pro 2, the Mavic Air. I actually had 2 Mavic Airs, and I had the Mavic Phantom. I mean, the DJI Phantom. But I don't have anything now. So the money that comes in for me to replace that stuff, I'm actually just going to sit on it because I don't really have a desire right now to deal with that. I used to rent the drones out. We used to film a lot of beach mansion video stuff. I've done some private stuff for the cable companies. I'm just not in the mind space to be creative right now. This is my solace. This is my therapy. I mean, I've lost Sony cameras, some Nikons. I mean, I did a lot of food photography. I got all these websites out there. StarClick Media has so much under their belt. We got Urban Foodies. We got SCM Sky Drones, which is on Instagram. We got all kinds of stuff I can't even think of right now because none of it is in my mind right now. Right now, I'm focused on my community and getting back to where we need to be because I miss my town, man. I miss my people. I miss going to drop in at Alicia's store and just say hi to Shell and break up the monotony of working and going right across the hall to Lawrence and Colbert and saying what's up to Jeff. Eating at the Mediterranean spot that's in that same 5 steps of and getting my Greek salad with the seeds in the olives. I can't stand. I always tell them, why y'all put seeds in the olives, man? I don't want to bite down on it and get hurt. But then walk around the corner to Thrifty's or Rite Aid. I still call it Thrifty. Or being able to go to the restaurant right there, all within walking area.
Right.
Because that's what we were. We started off walking everywhere. That's how we grew up, getting to know the lay of the land. Then we moved up to bikes. Mm-hmm. Then we moved up to MB5s and elite scooters and Vespas. Then we all got a car. And but we still stayed here. And no matter where you moved to, you always came back to Dena. I don't care because this was your comfort zone. Altadena was your comfort zone.
That's cool. Hey, we got an appointment. Remember that, please.
Oh, okay. So, yes, we're going to look at some new offices today. So we might be able to do the podcast sometimes from there. So I'm excited with the growth of the podcast and the nonprofit and all the different people that we meet along the way. Last night at the event to assist fundraising for fire victims from our fire, Eaton Fire. I met a lot of people that want to help us. I mean, they kept asking me, well, what do you need? And I'm like, I need a lot, but I'm not trying to focus on me. I'm trying to focus on getting money for the foundation so that we can help the community. Mm-hmm. And I know everybody says, hey, man, you need to think about you. I said, dude, my life is I'm alive and I'm able to still do this. So until we get to the point where our town is back, I'm not really focusing on me. I mean, I want to see, I miss talking to the neighbor that I didn't even like, or that actually didn't like me, rather. That's why I talked to her. She didn't like me. How you doing?
That's typical.
Yeah, you know me.
Well, you're trying to bring some joy, break
but meanness. You can break down the barrier. And I'm sad for her because she was about 84, 85, and she put her lot up for sale.
Yeah.
She had the most beautiful house on the block.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than she would go out there and water. She didn't like nobody parking in front of her house. So if you park in front of her house, and she didn't have any grass, but she would always go water the rocks where your car was. Like, you ain't got nothing else to do. I would just sit across the street in my car and just laugh at her.
Right.
Like, she gonna get somebody. She gonna get jumped by somebody one day doing that stuff. But that's what you deal with. You accept everybody in your neighborhood. Everybody's not gonna be compliant to your wishes. We had Coach Paul lived on my street. The Rebatos lived up the street. The Birds lived on the street. The McWarders lived on the street. We had a lot of people that lived on our street that we went to school with, mm-hmm. that we still talk to this day. I talk to David Robledo almost all the time. I used to see him at a lot of events. I was going to say almost every day, but that would have been a lie. So
it's just almost all the time.
You know how I do it with the words, like what the hell degrees is it?
Yeah.
But that's not the normal word I use.
Yep.
But yeah, we're going to close it out. We got 2 more minutes. So thank you we have so much participation today.
Yeah, this is, I think, the most participation we've had in a while. It's been awesome.
I mean, both pages, both Instagrams popping. I like that.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. It when you guys participate, it's real engaging. It's beneficial to the guests that we have on. It's beneficial to us and the people, other folks who are watching, because what you ask, or comment about, they may want to know the same information, but just either for whatever reason,
ask or don't know how to ask.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, here's my thing. If only one person watched this podcast and gained something from it, I'd be happy. I'm not here for the numbers, even though the numbers are staggering now. Just to let you know, we have never advertised this podcast with ads. It's always been sharing through friends, and they share it and forward it. So we're probably up to 800,000 views since January 16th. And that's counting just the Facebook, really, not counting the Instagram. I haven't even begun to look at those insights. And not counting the YouTube. Now, the first ads we may ever do will probably be on YouTube, because just to let you guys know, you won't be able to find our podcast after 30 days in back episodes unless you go to YouTube. So that's why we always pop up the banner for our AltadenaTalks, so that you'll be able to go there and find everything. That's never going to go away.
Right.
And we're also embarking on our media expansion project that will allow us to be on Roku and Apple TV and Amazon Prime and Spotify and all of those things. So that's one of the things that we are trying to get going. And every little bit helps. We have a whole sponsorship page on our AltadenaTalks Foundation. We're looking for somebody to take on the task and get branded as the sponsor for the next 5 years. We're going to try to, we're not going to try. We are dedicated to making sure that this podcast comes on every day, Monday through Friday, to bring you something different, something about progress, something about whatever is going on with our town. And that's all we're focused on. We're not focused on Palisades. We're not focused on Malibu. They got money. They got people. We're focused on our people, and that's all we can do. So, that's all I got to say. That's my at the end of the 60 minutes commentary. Yeah.
All right.
1:30.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we're gonna end now. We appreciate everybody that came on. Thank you very much.
Down.
Please turn your volume down for our exit video. It is pretty loud. We're always trying to do something to keep this to look as professional as possible. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you all. Have a great day. Peace.